Well, my dear student, let me continue it actually because I started to record it for 20 minutes or for 25 minutes. Then I'll try and then I compress it, and then inshallah I'll be just uploading them on YouTube and on LMS. Well, my dear students, is a very important part here. Teaching literature in English language teaching. Remember, you have to understand it right now. In English language teaching, many literary texts, many novels, many poetry, many proses, and many essays and anthologies and were used as additional passages. The use of literature in language teaching has given many contributions to increase students' achievement, such as, remember, I have to talk on each one of them. All right, creative thinking, motivation, enjoyment, etc. Uh, Literature in language teaching, my dear student, it has done tremendous work because the use of literature makes the students creative thinkers, because they any piece of literature, for example, let me talk about that Coleridge poetry, like Kubla Khan. So Kubla Khan is such a superb piece of literature which really takes you to the world of fantasies. It brings a vivid and a graphic picture before your idea. He is such a this Coleridge has such a control of language that he enables you to have a very vivid picture what he talks about. For example, if he talks about in Kubla Khan, a damsel means a beautiful girl, playing on her dulcimer. Dulcimer is a kind of musical instrument. So an imagination attacks you to the world of fantasies and imaginations, and you feel as if you are taking with that. So such contributions, it enables the students even to make them think. So there's, and if such a start is given by such a piece of literature, then the students become more creative in their imagination. They try to keep on adding something to their particular imaginative picture, because a spark is given actually by a piece of literature. A spark, like for example, when you have to like this on the sublimity, which is written by Lon Joynes. So he has given five major elements of a sublime literature. But what he means to say that, for example, if you have to fire a big fire, if you have to light a big fire, for that you need a spark, for that you need a match, for that you need a smallest flame. So with the help of that smallest flame, that smallest spark, you ignite, a pyre of wood, and you ignite a greatest fire. Similar is the case actually with any literary piece, or any literary novel, or any literary quote or anything. So when you look at that, so that makes you creative thinker. You just get lost in your own thinking, and a spark you have already taken, like for example Kubla Khan, from College Kubla Khan, and for example you are also taking to a gorge, all right, and there even the poet says that this might have been a part of a demon lava, all right, or and even you are also actually told the source of a river which meandering in a zigzag way flows down there. So, and with that you also think creatively. So that's a piece of literature. Believe me, a piece of literature, it makes you more thoughtful. It makes you more creative, and thus an element of creativity is aided and is brought to you. And above all, for example, in a literary text, for example, in a novel, for example, in a poetry. So when you feel thrilled, so keeps on motivating you until you finish that piece of literature. Like for example, any drama, any film, anything you, for example, nowadays, this Portugal, the Portugal, which has, which has got more than 3 billion viewer, more than that. So it has become a world famous theater work, and the character, the actors who have played different characters actually in the drama, they are they are being now called by different countries to come in, particularly in Pakistan. So a work of art, it really motivates you, and it gives you a kind of enjoyment. So critical thinking, creative thinking, all right, and motivations and enjoyment, obviously they bring a lot. So in university, I think that this document is getting now. See, you can see through the screen that online teaching is very difficult, but still we have to manage it. So at university level, many departments of English language education, this is actually the context actually from Indonesia. They have integrated literature. They're talking about Indonesia, but I think mostly the case might be in our thing, but also a content subject. So you see that literature is a very content subject. Is a content subject, literature was trained partly as a compulsory, and all your subjects are very compulsory. Now in ESL language teachings, all right, literature is a content subject and can promote internal as well as international communication among all humans and the world through literary works, because literary texts provide much aesthetic, as I said before, all right, aesthetic, intellectual, and further emotional pleasure to the students. All right, literature reflected the various experiences, ideas, passions of human beings and their daily life that express on several form and style of literary works. Just again coming to the definition of literature, that literature is a picture, true or less true, of actual life. So for example, when a writer writes something, so he gets inspired, you see, by anything practical in his life, and after that fit of emotion he begins to write. So he reflects something, he gets a spark, and under that he begins to write. So similarly you can find over there that literature, it obviously various experiences, it reflects it ideas, passions of human beings, all right, and their daily routine life, and obviously different style and different literary works you can find. So since literature, we can say, directly derives from human life, because literature is the subject of human, so it takes its stuff from there. It increases student knowledge and experiences about human problem, included values, morals, all right, a culture, and the human interests. All right, so I think if you pick up things like from literature, and the literature literature stuff, if it is taught and if it is shared with the student, obviously it helps the students to a great extent over there, and their linguistics and overall development takes place. Rather, we can say holistic development takes place. So literature obviously is a content subject, has given several functions to the students and learning process. For example, we say literary texts have a powerful function in raising moral and ethical concern in classroom. All right, so it's a powerful function is moral and ethical functions in the classroom. Some people they do not believe in the didactic function of literature. Didactic means that any piece of literature, any book which teaches any lesson or moral, right? Literature, we can say, has great function in developing what we are going to teach, just to take the function of literature in these terms. Like, for example, it has a great function and development what? Humans' feelings, all right, ideas, generations, and interests, all right. And specific, the functions of literature is follows. It may have many functions. The first function, literature gives knowledge of the particularities. You see, where the knowledge of particularities which science and philosophy are not concerned. All right. The second function is that literature makes the human perceive what human see, imagine what humans already know, conceptually or practically. All right. This is the second function of literature, that it makes the human perceive what human see, imagine. I mean, you talk about things that are most generally and closely related to humans. All right. And you can it doesn't talk about normally, it doesn't even sometimes fantasy literature, sometimes futuristic literature, sometimes the literature now you are talking about things which has never even happened to the human. But basically, the basic functions of literature, while the final function of literature is that literature relieves human, either writers or readers, from the pressure of emotions. All right. For example, when you write something, when you say something, so it releases your thoughts, and it helps you a great deal over there. So these are actually the major functions of literature. And further, we said that literature is a content subject is expected to be able to give positive impacts, knowledge, great ideas, and awareness of the student when the literary works have written, read, analyzing, are appreciated. So now I think we are going to talk, because I'm going to get focused basically on this particular article fully, so that you can have an idea regarding its teaching, regarding that what literature does and what things are actually shared with there. Some techniques of teaching English poetry for. Now, only in this particular article, English poetry has been taken from the literature, but we are going to talk about this as well, so that how actually one component of literature is taught actually in a language class. So after uploading this third part of this article, I'm going to talk again actually on it. I'll continue from here, so just stay tuned, my dear student, and try to keep a continuity of these lectures. And